Donald Trump is warning of an economic and national security disaster if the Supreme Court overturns its use of emergency powers to impose sweeping tariffs on nearly every country.
The court will decide the very validity of Trump's tariffs. These tariffs, imposed from early 2025 onwards, shook global trade.
What if one single Supreme Court verdict just wiped out $150 billion in tariffs overnight? What if the most powerful trade weapon used by governments for decades was suddenly declared illegal? And what if this decision quietly changed the future of global trade without most people even noticing? This is not a rumor. This is not a theory. This is a real legal shockwave that could reshape how nations control money power and trade forever. What exactly happened? The Supreme Court delivered a verdict that stunned economists, lawmakers, and global markets. At the center of the case was one brutal question: can the government impose massive tariffs without clear approval from Congress? The court said no. And that single word may have just erased $150 billion in tariff authority. This ruling did not just target one policy, it challenged the very foundation of how tariffs have been used for decades. If tariffs are taxes, then only Congress can create them. And if the executive branch acted alone, then those tariffs may never have been legal in the first place. Why this verdict is a big deal. Tariffs are not just trade tools, they are weapons. They protect industries, punish rivals, and shape global supply chains. Now imagine removing that weapon overnight. A $150 billion revenue stream could vanish. Prices on imported goods could suddenly drop. Entire industries that depended on protection could be exposed overnight. And countries that were punished by tariffs may now gain unexpected advantages. This verdict is not about one court case. It is about power. Who controls trade, who controls taxes, and who really decides how money flows in the economy. Who wins and who loses. Consumers could be the immediate winners. Lower tariffs often mean lower prices. Electronics, clothes, cars, and household goods could all become cheaper. But there is another side. Domestic manufacturers may struggle. Jobs that were protected by tariffs could be at risk. Companies that relied on government shields now face global competition without armor, and governments lose leverage. Tariffs were used to force negotiations and political pressure. That tool may now be severely limited. The political earthquake. This verdict quietly shifts power back to Congress. It restricts how future presidents can act alone on trade. That means trade wars become harder to launch. Quick economic retaliation becomes slower. Every major tariff decision may now require debate votes and public scrutiny. Some see this as protection for democracy. Others see it as paralysis in a fast-moving world. But one thing is clear: the rules of economic warfare just changed. What this means for the future. This case sets a precedent, and precedents shape decades. Future tariffs may face legal challenges. Existing tariffs may be questioned. Entire trade strategies may need rewriting. Global investors are watching closely. Corporations are recalculating risks, and governments are quietly reassessing their playbooks. This is not the end of tariffs, but it may be the end of easy tariffs. This Supreme Court verdict did not just shake the law, it shook the global economy. If $150 billion in tariffs can disappear with a single ruling, then no trade policy is truly permanent. Power is shifting, rules are changing, and the next economic battle may not be fought in ports or factories, but in courtrooms. If this opened your eyes, hit like. If this made you think, subscribe. And if this matters, share it with someone who needs to see it. Because the future of money, trade, and power is being rewritten right now. Because economic power always shifts when legal boundaries are suddenly enforced.